Hello, and welcome back to another edition of Between the T's, the knowledge sharing program from Texas Bank and Trust. I'm your host, Karen Partee. You know, shopping for a new home can be overwhelming, especially for first-time homebuyers. Many would-be homeowners may not even know where to start. Do you call a real estate agent? Do you call your mortgage lender? More importantly, how much can you truly afford to spend on a house? And is it the same as what you qualify for? Well, today we plan to tackle these questions and prepare you with the information needed to begin your home shopping journey. To help us unpack this topic, we are joined by Barbara Berry, Vice President and Residential Mortgage Lender with Texas Bank and Trust. For more than 26 years, Barbara has helped hundreds of individuals and families walk through the home buying process. Welcome, Barbara. Thank you for being here today. Well, we're going to jump right in. So, my first question is, if someone's in the market for a home, whether it be their first home or maybe they're several years from having purchased that first home and maybe the process has changed, where should they begin in this home buying process?
Well, the first thing I tell everybody is to get pre-qualified, especially even before you go and visit a realtor. This is going to tell you how much you can actually qualify for and what size home that you want to look for. We're going to tell you how much of a house that you can afford, and you need to kind of incorporate that into your own personal budget because you don't want to get to a position where you're house poor, where you can afford the payment, but you can't afford anything else.
So let's break down the difference between what someone can afford in a home and what they actually qualify for. And tell us why it's important for individuals to know the difference between those two numbers.
Well, a lot of times I do see that on paper, people qualify for a lot higher payment than what they feel comfortable paying.
Okay.
We're not going to take into consideration your lifestyle, which is, going and eating out, groceries, shopping, and all of that. So we're going to tell you how much of a payment that you qualify for, but you do need to put that in with your budget as well. We also have on our website mortgage calculators that you can use as a tool on your own to kind of play with loan amounts and payment amounts to see what you kind of feel comfortable with.
Well, and speaking of the mortgage payment, can you break down the structure of it?
Sure. When you're making a house payment, you're paying your principal and interest and taxes and insurance.
Okay.
The principal and interest is going towards the note for the money that you borrowed to buy your home, and taxes and insurance are going into an escrow account. So as you're making your payment throughout the year, when those bills come due, then we have enough in the escrow account to pay those out. So you're not having to pay those out at once when the insurance renews or the tax bill comes.
Okay. Sometimes, and specifically first-time home buyers may not consider this when they're looking for a home, but there are other expenses that go along with home ownership. And I think you affectionately call them furniture, fixtures, and fences. Explain a little bit more about those for us.
Well, yes, exactly. When you buy a house, the first thing that you want to do typically is buy new furniture to fit into your new house.
Right.
You now have a yard. You have to buy a lawnmower to mow the yard. There's just going to be a lot of other things that you're not accustomed to having to do.
And if you really think it out, okay, so now I own a home, but now I'm also my own landlord. And that comes into play and gives you a lot of perspective about home ownership. Say when the water heater goes out in the middle of the night. How can individuals plan for those type of expenses that may be almost emergency in nature?
Yes, well, you will be your own landlord, and not everybody is lucky to know how to fix everything. Right. So you do need to set aside a fund for the unexpected because you will have leaks. You'll have insurance deductibles that you have to pay, and those out-of-pocket expenses can really hit you. You don't want it to affect you not being able to make the payment. Okay.
If there's somebody out there, they keep going back and forth about actually purchasing a home, what are the true benefits of home ownership?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is you're achieving part of the American dream.
Absolutely.
You're purchasing a house, you're building equity in that house. That in turn becomes one of your assets, and a lot of times you're able to hand that down to future generations.
Well, thank you. Appreciate your perspective on this. And that is all the time we have for today's segment. If you would like to get started on your research for buying a home, why not begin by trying our mortgage calculators on TBT Online? Visit www.texasbankandtrust.com, or you can speak with one of our mortgage lending officers, and the contact information is listed below. Until next time, remember always that knowledge is power when it's shared between the T's. I'm your host, Karen Partee. Thanks for watching.